Vamos nessa. Tá, é bem interessante, né? A história desse Inkansei.
Let's see here. Yes, it's just as I had suspected. Monikers such as Suiko and Aoi no Okina aren't the real names of the five Kaisen. Though there were once many stories regarding each of the five Kaisen, the validity of their contents can no longer be verified in present times. Alas, what a shame. But, at the very least, we know that most of the stories were written according to a similar style, so there is still something we may glean from this.
So, is the info useful for your paintings, Albedo?
To some extent, yes. However, I must admit that it is still lacking and fails to fulfill the most crucial element. Inspiration.
I am sorry that this information is not as exhaustive as you had hoped. However, it is not possible to gather anything more at the moment. Though, Lady Yae did say that there are many variations of the story about the five Kaisen, and everyone has a different story in their heart. So all you need to do is follow through with what's in your own heart, and create something that you yourself find interesting.
That does sound like something Miko would say.
Thank you, Mr. Hirayama. No need to worry. I'll find inspiration for the portraits.
Great. I'll leave it to you then, Calx. Oh, and there's one more thing I need to ask of everyone. Tomorrow morning, Mr. Genyu, the author of A Legend of Sword, will be arriving in Inazuma by boat. If you see him, please do not mention the stolen novels for the time being. Whether the stolen books are eventually recovered or not, the Yae Publishing House will do its best to ensure that the novel's release is a success.
Mano, vai dar merda isso, hein? A gente não deveria esconder do Shinkyu, não. Ainda mais ele que é um zeloso pela justiça. Mas tá bom, entendi. Eu entendo a situação.
I'll be going then.
Well, seems there's nothing more we can do here. Let's go.
Eu fui embora ali atrás.
Huh? Betty? What are you doing over there? You don't want us to leave you behind, do you?
Traveler, Albedo, would you mind coming over here for a moment? There's something peculiar that I think you should see.
Algo peculiar. Fale com Vente.
What is it, Venti? A piece of paper?
Indeed. When I awakened to find myself in the warehouse this morning, I discovered this paper in the cargo crate where I was sleeping. I didn't think much of it then. I thought it was merely a scrap piece of paper that had fallen into the cargo. After a quick glance, I stuffed it into a place nearby. But on second thought, I think it's worth having you take a look at what's written on it.
O esplendor dos Shinkansei Suikou. O esplendor dos Shinkansei Suikou. Minha morada era longe do resto do mundo, mas a minha fama perturbava a minha paz. Para Teixukaku, fui de azul apresentar nosso trabalho, mas o de Aoi estava faltando uma página. Eu ajoelhei e implorei por misericórdia, e disse que sabia como havia sido perdida. Na noite anterior eu estava bêbado, então a sombra de uma pessoa passou por mim. Algum maldito traiçoeiro deve ter roubado o poema, me levando a essa enorme perda.
Let me see. Suiko chapter. Wait a minute. Isn't Suiko the name of one of the five Kaisen?
The story told in this poem roughly boils down to Suiko getting tipsy and letting some poems that were meant for the shogun get stolen. Ah, this story sounds familiar to my ear. Where have I heard it?
Seriously? It's literally the same story you just experienced yesterday!
Né?
Oh, indeed it is. Interesting, isn't it?
Parece que isso está relacionado aos romances roubados.
Yes, I concur. The person who left this paper could quite possibly be the criminal, or even a witness to the theft. But why leave the paper here in such a fashion? And if the one who left it here was a witness, why didn't they attempt to stop the burglary?
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Meeting together in Inazuma like this is a most rare occasion. Since we've been busy from the start of the day, let us find an inn with good drink to keep our thirst at bay.
Hey! You just sobered up and you're already thinking about more drinks? And let's not forget that Albedo still has a portrait to complete. We don't have time to be slacking off.
No, it's fine. Let's all go for a drink together. It'll be my treat.
Wait a minute. What about your portrait?
As I mentioned before, I'm the kind of artist who can work quickly once I'm inspired. And now, it seems I've found my source of inspiration. If I use a model as reference for the piece, we must pay him back with the appropriate recompense.
In that case, we'll need to order more dishes.
Teremos que pedir mais comida, meu Deus do céu.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
The world remains.
Wow, you really came through, Albedo. You were able to complete the first portrait before the opening ceremony.
Mas é o Vende? Que?
Yes, it really is a sight to behold. Not only does it harken to the traditional style of Inazuma, but it also makes use of modern aesthetics. My figure is particularly striking. Even though I'm sound asleep in the portrait, I still appear as glorious as always.
Hey, don't get too full of yourself, Tone-Deaf Bard. You were just a model. The person in the artwork isn't actually you. Well, Albedo, who will be your next portrait?
The next one will be Aoi no Okina of the 5 Kaisen.
Albedo, might I suggest waiting a little before starting on the next one? Who knows? You might soon discover another story.
Another story?
I believe he's referring to the possibility of finding another paper with tales of the 5 Kaisen. According to the reference materials I was given, we've only found the first of a total of 4 chapters.
Do you think the mysterious person who left the first paper will strike again?
It certainly is a possibility. Also, there are some points regarding the stories of the 5 Kaisen that have left me rather curious. For example, the reference materials make mention of 5 legendary figures, yet all the popular stories only consist of 4 parts.
Pois é.
It appears that throughout all the stories, there is never a chapter dedicated to Kuronushi.
Yes, I'm also curious about these stories myself. But who knows? They may merely be akin to the old saying in Mondstadt. Seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time. So for now, we need but just wait patiently.
Ah. Concluímos o ato 1, Conto do Suiko Bêbado, meus queridos. E liberamos aí o magnífico Festival de Irodori. Começo dele. Aí, ó. Nossa. Agora sim, meus queridos. Aí liberamos ele. Aí tem mais outros 4, né? O segundo é o que as flores azuis deixam para trás para desbloquear. O Teatro Mecânicos vai liberar. A próxima é... Depois é... Complete a missão, uma nova pintura escarlate para desbloquear. Duelo das Lâminas Solitárias. Vai ser o terceiro evento. Terceiro mini-evento. Uma nova pintura escarlate para desbloquear. Pátio Floral. E por fim, a última missão, Palácio Tingido de Preto para desbloquear. Parece interessante. Bora ver aqui. O que tem aqui? Poesia de Irodori, ó. O bardo de Mondstadt Etlane está acaloradamente discutindo sobre a poesia com o bardo de Inazuma Otomo. Pelo visto é uma quest. Uma quest dentro... É tipo uma subquest aqui dentro. Então vai ser bem interessante isso aqui de fazer, porque vai ser parecido com aquelas quests do Ano Novo, né? Vai ter umas anedotas. No caso aqui é histórias. O que é isso aqui? Ah, eu posso ver, ó. Posso ver e não ver. Ah, entendi. Completamos aqui o que as flores azuis deixam para trás. Espere até amanhã do dia seguinte. Poesia de Hirodori 1. Tá. Eu posso fazer isso aqui separadamente, aparentemente. Deixa eu ver aqui. Lendas Kaisen, ó. Liberamos o primeiro e liberamos a primeira anedota também. Eu acho que seria bom eu fazer a anedota junto com o evento do festival. Entendeu? E aí parece ser interessante. Parece ser interessante. Aí depois a gente vai pro Contos da Cor e do Jardim Violetato 2.